Okay, let's get started. So Python Zero to Hero, we are back. So last week, we had the break. I hope you had a good break like me as well. So yeah, I went outside. Finally, I got to go somewhere else that is yeah, I feel like I've been trapping it at home, trapping in my area because I rarely take of course now it's very risky to take public transport, and also if you do please take a mask. But I don't travel, so it's very difficult to kind of you know not stuck in this area. So I take a day off and really go further away, and kind of refreshing. I like it. I love it. I enjoyed it. It's great. So, but this week we are back. We are kind of. I hope you're re-energized, so we could actually do some good Python stuff today. And also last week we have our yeah, we have we have done a lot of things since I think it's like 3 months ago now. I can't remember when I started this, so maybe it's in April. So it's almost like 3 months. We learned so much things, and last month we learned testing, and there's quite a lot of things. And today my friend asked me about property-based testing, which is is cool. I think I want to have more people to be interested in doing different things with Python. Um, yeah, and today we're going to talk about iterators. So last month we did testing. It's like more practical stuff, and this month, not this month, but like today and next week, I guess we got to do more kind of Python internal things. So I got to talk about iterator, and so it's kind of inspired by Naomi's tutorial a few months ago. But it's kind of be my way of expressing it, I guess. And also we gotta experiment, mess around with the Python object and see what's inside. I try to understand it more. Also maybe yeah. So this today is more theoretical, I would say, less about how like practical things, but it's good that you understand how these things work, and then when you write the code, you kind of understand what's actually happening behind the scene, like what the Python interpreter is actually doing, and why it works this way with Python. So I think it's good to understand a little bit of those, and I found it interesting. So and oops, I'm not on the screen, that's why it doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, so first of all, what is iterator? And iterator is an object. By the way, if you have any questions when I'm explaining things, please feel free to type in the chat. I like having people to type in the chat. I wish there are more people watching me live, but I think it's quite difficult now because, the lockdown ban, the travel ban is lifted, and the lockdown is released, and people keep going outside. So Sunday is a bit tricky. And also, some I know there are people watching my videos, but they are based not in Europe, so the time zone is a bit tricky for them. But anyway, so iterator is an object, of course, and it has the next method. So one thing about Python object is that actually what kind of object you are is actually depends on whether you have these dunder methods. So I am also submitting my talk about, because I've given a talk in the Python show before about the dunder methods and all the stuff. And actually it's quite important for the Python objects, because sometimes how you behave, what so actually a Python object is it's kind of determine who you are by what you can do. So it's very interesting idea that it's kind of we don't care who you are, but what you can do. So this is a Python object. So we are not discriminating any object. As long as you have this method, then you are part of us, you're an iterator. So yeah, the best way to check whether it's an iterator is to check whether it has a next method. And an iterator is generated when iter is used on an iterable object. Um, so now it comes to what is iterable object. Yeah, actually we came across iterable objects quite a lot, cause a lot of the I will show you later, and that's the whole point of it. And but so iterator actually is not mysterious. It's we have came across them actually, but without knowing that, right? Because we have all these iterable objects that we know we use, and then actually if you carry out some operation, the iter will call, and it will generate iterator, and it's like doing things under the hood without us knowing. So the interesting thing is that iterator is also iterable object. So kind of inception going on here. So it's a bit confusing. So like what? So yeah, it's a bit like sometimes people mess these two up, like iterator and iterable. So um yeah, so because iterator is also iterable object, so that's why people sometimes like kind of confused. So we like let's hope that we will clear some of these concepts a little bit today. So let's see. And yeah, we have like iterable. So what are they? And so by definition, well, they are an object, of course, and they can generate an iterator, yeah, because like that's what we talked about in the last slides, right? And the iterable has the the iter attribute, the iter method, and sometimes also get items because uh, a lot of the sequential objects which has get items, they are also iterable. So a lot of those that we came across, the actually like iterables are actually sequential objects. So they would both have the get item and the iter methods. So let's check it out. So actually, like I don't have a lot in these slides because today I just gotta try to do things in the in a Jupyter Notebook to kind of try things out ourselves. And I've actually changed from using my Atom to use Jupyter Notebook because it's easier for me to switch between the two. It doesn't go to like all these weird things with the screen capture and everything as well. So yeah, I think it's yeah, Jupyter Notebook is a great invention. So I've write two functions. So it's like it's iterable. Basically, it's just checking whether this object has an iter attribute. Like I said, like all Python objects, it's actually what determines who you are is what you can do. So whether you have this attribute, okay. So also we can check whether it has the get item. So just like has like yeah, this is a built-in function that you could use to check whether if a Python function got this attribute. Um, so we do let's say we test a list to see if this is an iterable or is it does it has get item. So yeah, it does. It has an iterable and it has get item. Um, so let's check something else. How about of course, any sequential object like triple, they are like is the same. And oops. And also dictionary is like again like dictionary is also like let me type it. Yeah, I can type and talk at the same time. Horrible. Okay, so a dictionary is also iterable because like remember basically anything that you can stuff in the for loop. So it's like remember we have the for loop. So for item in something that is iterable. So so a dictionary is iterable. It also has get item. So okay, so now it comes to the question of like I said that this you can loop over a dictionary. You can also loop over. So let's call this like let's copy this and I'll call this a dictionary. So what if like because remember we can have a looped over a dictionaries dot keys, right? Or items or values. Uh, yeah, let's try values. And okay, so now you can see that a dictionary dot values actually will return an object. Okay, so if you want to know what that is, like we can actually oops, yeah, I keep hitting like something with my mouse because like I keep putting so many things on my desk and like my mouse basically like sometimes will hit something because I don't have enough space for my mouse, which is horrible. So let's put it here and let's see like what this dictionary.values will give us back. So it will give us an object called like dix values. Yeah, so very nice naming here. So this object actually was is a Python object and is iterable, but it doesn't have get items. So What do you mean like get item is actually anything that you could have a square bracket after it is actually you're calling get item. So for this thing, so this values, you can't have something like, give me the first one. You can't have that. It will give you an error. So because it doesn't have the get item, it will say that, yeah, it's not subscribable. So yeah, this is the error that you get. But if you put it in the dictionary, you can get that. Oh, you can't. Oh yeah, because because you can't call by index, but you can call like, yeah, because this should be the index, right? So it doesn't have 0 here, but it has 1. So if you put 1 here, it works. But if you put in dot values here, then it won't work because it doesn't have, yeah, it doesn't have get item, so it won't work. So yeah, so this is what's going on here. But it actually is iterable. So that's so we find one thing that is an iterable, but it's not, you know um it doesn't have get item. So what else can we try? How about we try range? Okay, so because we can put like in a for loop we can do range, right? So we can do range 10. It's also has get item, so like I've never tried that before, but like actually you can do things like this. So not 23, of course. It's like, yeah, you can get back like an element from the range. I didn't know that before. I thought you have to turn it into a list, but no, actually the range also has like the get item, so you can do this totally fine. Um, so yeah, these are like some of the objects that are iterable. Of course, an iterator is also iterable. So when will you have an iterator? So when you create a for loop, actually you would create an iterator. So for each time you go through a loop, then you know the iterator will be called and will give you some value back. Um, what I want to say is that, sorry, I'm like not very thinking straight because you can see I'm drinking coffee. I'm a bit like tired. Um, so um, when you do a for loop, so actually like all this iterable that you put in, like for example, you do like for item in, let's say, dictionary, and then you do something, right? And whatever you do. But like here, when you call this for loop, then this iterable will be turned into an iterator, and actually the for loop is calling the iterator every time. So this is what's happening under the hood. But uh, remember we said that iterator is actually an object that actually has a next method. So actually you can write an iterator. So let's try my iter. Okay, so my iterator. So this is a class, and actually yeah, I can. I should actually iterator class. Can I do that? I don't know, but like let's try. Let's try that. I have like everything else. I have an init and self. Let's say that when it started, I would say value equals to 0. So set the value equals to 0. So self dot value. Sorry. Oops. Yeah. So then we have that, and then we call next. Oh, actually, I need to take in a max value. Then, then I can set a max value of a self will be the max value. Okay. So when I call next, what would happen is that I would, if self dot value is less than or equals to max value, let's say. So it's different from range, right? Because range won't show the max value, but this one will show the max value. So if that's smaller, so returned. Oh, before that I gotta increase it first. So um, actually smaller because I will increase it here. So yeah, off by one error coming. increased itself by 1 and returned it. So when it go to the last one, then it would like, it's smaller than the max value, it would become the max value and return the max value. So this one is like a range, but include the last value. Else, I would throw an error. So raise stop iteration. Yep. Error. Is it like that? I'm not so sure. So let me Google it. Let me make sure that I'm doing the correct thing. Yes. So yeah, you would raise a stop iteration error there. So yeah, just to make sure that I'm doing the correct thing, I hope. And yeah, but it's like the highlighting is not doing anything, so it's a bit alarming here. So that's why I'm not comfortable doing that. Or it's just like stop iteration. Yeah, I think it's just stop iteration. Well, let's try. And yeah, okay, kind of execute, but like we haven't called it. So let's create a, oh, actually I should name it better. Yeah, so now I can create my iter equals to my iter, and let's make 10. So now if I do a dot next, oops, yeah, I give oops, no, it's yeah, max value is not defined. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Forgot the, oops. Oh, I have to rerun it. Sorry. Or do I have to? Oh, here. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so it gave me 10. So let's make it smaller so we can do it faster. So it should give me 3. Oh, no, it shouldn't give me 3. What's going on? Right. So max value equals to max value. If it's smaller than max value, then it should return. Oh, not return the max value. You silly. Return the value. Okay. Yeah, so it will give me 1. So if I run it again, it will give me 2. If I run it again, it will give me 3. So now it should stop. Yeah, it should stop iteration. So it will flow and stop iteration here. So in theory, actually, I can loop over it, and so this is actually like what an iterator would do. Like every time we call next, it will just give you the next one, and until it comes to the stop iteration, then it will be like stop. And so inside a for loop, actually, we check that whether you have this stop iteration, and it will stop the loops. If it's, yeah, because like this is kind of like a switch that you can switch off the for loop. So yeah, I can't like really put this in the for loop, is it? Because if I put it in the for loop, then I don't know what will happen actually. Can I write in the for loop? Because like otherwise we have to write our own for loop. It's strange, but let's see if I can put my iter for item in my iter. I doubt that it will work, but item, don't know. Yeah, it won't work because well, it's not iterable because we haven't done it correctly. Because like if it's a if it's an iterator, remember we said the iterator is also iterable. So this is not a correct iterator because we have to add the iter here. And then what it should do, it's that it should return self. So yeah. So now I can make it this into an iterable, and then iterator should also return self when iter is called. So yeah, so now it will work. Ta-da! We can write the iterator. So iterator needs to have a next and an iter because iterator is also iterable. Or you can you can skip that, like what I did before, is just create a monster that doesn't go into a for loop, because a for loop need to be an iterable. And by definition, an iterator should be an iterable, so you can put an iterator in there. I hope the logic makes sense. So yeah. So this is how you can make an iterator, like this. So basically, you can use it like range, but with like but the max would the max would be whatever you said here. So it's like, so it was start from 1 to 10 rather than 0 to 9. So that's what it does. Yeah, so it's iterable. So now it's yes. So yeah, I should actually like put this here, and you guess what I like. You kind of understand what I mean. So before it was not iterable, and basically you can't do that. And now you can actually, yeah, then you can call this one. Sorry, I'm just trying to tidy this up. So you can call next to see what happened, and you can do this like kind of 3 times. See what happened. Okay, and now you can actually like so if you add an iter here, so it's become an iterable. So actually you can check this now. Like if I copy this, and you can see that not range but my iter is an iterable, and it doesn't have has a get item because I haven't write it. So you can add it, so if you want, but it's not necessary. As long as you have the iter method, so you are iterable, you can use it in a for loop. Okay. Yeah. So this is quite neat here. And yeah, what is iterator of an iterator? So in this case, in my case, it's yeah, it's itself. So how about we try type of, so remember range, this is an iterable, right? Uh, so what is the iterator of range? So let's see. So yeah, it's a range iterator, right? Okay. So this is an iterator. So you just call it the iterator. Okay. So what is the iterator of this iterator? So let's try to see. Yeah. So I can't really do. Okay. So let's do this. No. Sorry. What am I doing? Okay. Okay. Ah. Okay. The iter. Let's call it that. And then here I can print out the iter, and also I can print out iter of the iter. Okay. So let's try. Yeah. So it's itself. So kind of spoiled it a little bit. It doesn't work the way that I wanted. So yeah. So for all these like standard thing that the iters is itself. So an iterator will have an iter function that return itself. So yeah, I kind of spoiled that by doing it. I know it beforehand, but it applies to everything. All these iterator that's generated with iter, it's basically like if it's an iterator, it just return itself. And yeah, so that's that. Um, can we use it in a for loop? Yes, I've done that before actually. So actually I can put this down there. Answer this question. Yes. Okay. So and yeah, so that's quite quick. That's actually basically the basic of an iterator. Why do I talk about that? Because actually it leads to an interesting concept of a generator. So a generator is like a it's like writing a function, but instead of creating a function object, it creates an iterator. So I will cover that next time, because I would want to have generator as its own episode, because it, like when you try to use you and you from, it's kind of like go to this like funny concept, and then afterward it will lead to await and async. So I kind of like want to do it step by step. So I know that it's gonna be short, the iterator, so I can flow in a little bit extra information that we're gonna learn today. So, for example, we can mess around with GetItem. So I've actually shown you before that, you can have, so square brackets actually calling GetItem. So let's say I have my list here is 1, 2, 3. Let's say, what? Okay, 3. Okay, so I have my list, and you know how to call the first item of the list. Well, everybody knows that. I hope you know it now, since we have been through our Python journey. You should know that a square bracket will give you an element of the list. So this is like my list, the first element of my list. But actually, instead of that, you can do call the get item, and it will be the same. Okay, so the funny thing about this is that because sometimes we put interesting thing in square brackets. So let's have a mess around. So for example, I can have this will give me 2 and 3. So what will happen if I put that in get item? I just want to see that. It's because this is like slicing, right? So this is it's a different thing. So I don't know whether like it should not work this way. Yeah, it will not work. So what happened here is that it will become a slice. So it will create a slicing here. So it's something different. I don't know whether I want to go down this route because yeah, I can create a slice object that is, oh, I can't do it like that. Yeah, so I can create a slice object that is basically this, and let's say 1 and 2. So I slice up like 1, like basically you just give me like 2, but I can maybe make it like 3 here. So I can create a slice, and then I can put it in range, let's say 10, and I can put that in here. Yeah, like then it will give me something back. Okay, kind of like going too far, I think. So this GetItem. So one other funny thing is that actually pandas SPD. So actually, you remember like we have a lot of pandas data frame and all this stuff, right? So I think I've showed it in the Python, the ledger data before when I talk about the pandas object. So let's say I create a data frame. So pd dot read. Oh, I don't have any CSV here, so just call data frame. Maybe I'll put in a dictionary here so I can, you know, I don't know whether I can put in it like, something like this. Again, not very well planned. And yeah, let's see if I can create a data frame here. No, I can't. Data equals to, I think. No. I can't remember pandas data frame. I can do from dictionary. Let me see if I can do a pd from dictionary. Maybe this one will work. Yeah, I think it used to be able to like you just shuffle a dictionary and it will work, but I don't know why it doesn't. What is going on? Like, oh, why it doesn't have like a data frame? Okay, I have to have a data frame first. Okay, yeah, I think this is confusing. I think it's like this. So I create an empty data frame and then I, okay. I do it like that? No, I can't do it like that. Why is it like complaining about my, I don't have an index maybe? Do they have an example? I just want to borrow a data frame, thank you. Yeah, I just borrowed this data. I don't know why. Oh, because maybe because I used the numbers and index and it doesn't like it. So yeah, whatever. I just borrow this. Thank you. Yeah, okay, so I have a data frame here, all the traumas, and so now I want to take a because a pandas data frame actually. Let's try whether this is iterable. First of all, that's very interesting thing to check. So we can go and copy my checking code, and so actually object equals to df, and it's an iterable, and it has get item. So so actually what you can do is like you can do a for loop in df and print df. So let's see what happened. Oh, it's not doing anything. Huh. So it's an iterable, but it's yeah, but it doesn't return anything. So uh, oh, item, I think, yeah, because yeah, it should be item, but it doesn't print anything. So print type. How about that? Because it may like not. Oops. Yeah, it's an iterable, but it doesn't have it doesn't print out anything. So that's interesting. Let's investigate. So I'll have a map. So dot next. Oh yes, because so this is a little bit cheating. So a data frame actually or because I have looped through it before, right? So no, let's do this again. Let's create a df again, and yeah, it should give me a fresh iterator. So I think the thing is like the iterator that is generated from df, which is an iterable, that the next function basically just stop iteration. It doesn't like you can't loop through a df in a for loop because it purposely make the iterator of it uh, just stop iteration. So in the next, so instead of me like I just check whether it's so remember my iterator. So I would check next I would return a value. So what happened I think in the df iterator is that it would just give the stop iteration value, so you can't loop through it. So that's a little bit hacky, is it? I didn't know about that before. Because like you can definitely use apply to loop through it, but you can't loop through df. I think it's just like by design it doesn't like that. And can I inspect the code? So maybe I can inspect the code of it. I don't know. It's gonna be no, I can't. So map object doesn't have the code. So what do you have for me? Yeah. Yeah, so you can see that like, yeah, inside next. So, oops, hang on here. Okay, that's correct. Next. So in next we have a, we don't have the code here, is it? No, it doesn't. Yeah, so you can see that this is but you can call GetItem. So let's try GetItem. So df dot GetItem. So now you see that like what it says, right? Item. What I would put in here is to is column 1. Actually, yeah. So this is basically. Oh, why is a key error? And ooh, GetItem. Okay. Because in df you can definitely do this, right? You can do a column 1 here. So it should be, you should be able to put it in GetItem. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Column 1. Huh. It's very strange today, like pandas. What's going on with you? Um, yeah, you should be able to select a column. So what? Maybe let me refresh this. So you have been very strange. Let's see. Let's try 0. Yeah, you have been very strange, pandas. What's going on with you? Of DataFrame. Oh, because I know why. I haven't. Sorry about that. I haven't reassigned it. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. Now it's explaining lots of things. So it should be column 1. Yeah. Okay. Now it works. So now maybe the for loop works. So because before there's nothing in there because I forgot to reassign it. So 4. So maybe now it works. df. Yeah, item. So I'm guessing this should be each column. Yeah, it's each column. So column 1 and column 2. So this is like the dictionary. Okay. So okay, sorry, I misunderstand you. So what's going on is like I forgot to reassign it. So it actually is an empty data frame. That's why everything is empty. But so yeah, you can see that actually it's like a dictionary here. So you can actually call like the data column 1 is gonna be the same. So so I guess now, oops. So I guess now you can do it like dot get item and column 1, then it would be the same. Yeah. So and this time you can actually use the f dot next to get all your columns. Oh, next df. Oh yeah, I have to iter. Yeah, and you get your first column. So you can so any object that is iterable, you can basically play around like this. So that's get item, and kind of mess around a little bit, kind of confuse myself a little bit because of my careless mistake. And in iter2, so this is something that I found I kind of overlooked a bit. I didn't know that like for example, you have range, you can go for like from 1 to 10, but you can actually use cycle that actually go back to itself. So yeah, so these are very interesting iterators um, that do something very different from what we used to do. Because for example, in cycle, it would never stop the iteration. You just go through like in cycles, so you don't have a stop iteration. So every time you call next, it will just give you the next thing. So you don't put it in a for loop. It would be infinite loop because it doesn't have a stop iter there. But what you can do is like for example for cycle. Oh, you have to import it first. Sorry, import iter2s and iter2s.cycle. Let's put 1, 2, 3 in here, and this will give me a you know cycle object. Okay, so now if I call next on this, then it'll give me 1. If I do it again, it'll give 2. Do it again, 3, and it will go back to 1. So it will never stop. Don't put it in a for loop. It would be funny if like not funny, but like you basically go into an infinite loop in a if you yeah put this in a for loop. So these are interesting stuff to do, and repeat as well. So you can repeat. Oops. You can repeat it until so you can have, let's say, for item in iter2s.repeat. Um, So you can put like hello, let's say, and then you say it 3 times, let's say, and print item. They were just hello, hello, hello. And then this time it will stop until you repeat, but it's just like repeating the same thing again and again. Um, so yeah, I think the most like notable thing is the cycle one. Just like don't put it in a for loop; it will never stop. Um, what else you could do? Oops. And oh, why is it here? Okay. Um, so count is just like going up instead of going, you know, and also like it goes up and it will never stop. So yeah. Or you can set a step there so it can stop after a step, but I think you can use range. So yeah, and accumulate. So like yeah, look at all this stuff. The interesting stuff and chain. You know, um, yeah, group by as well. So yeah, have a look. The link is in here. So have a look at that. So sometimes you will find something useful. Just have a read, and for example, like permutation, these things like it's not like you won't use it every day, but like if you need it, you know that it's actually in Iteratool, so you can use them. You know, combination, permutation, it will generate some combination for you easily, so you don't have to write your own function. That's really cool. So yeah, this is something that like you may not know about, even you have used Python for so long, because you know you kind of overlook all this standard library stuff. Um, yeah. So yeah, I would suggest you have a look so you have like you know what is available, and when you need it, you can use it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. It's a very short episode, and yeah, I hope you kind of enjoyed it. Next time we gotta go through go to generator. So we kind of like we go away from the beginners Python. So yeah, so we are beginners Python tutorial, but like we kind of go further and further in, and now we are kind of in a space of again. Sorry, like my monitoring computer is frozen again, so like I may miss some of your chat. So if you have typed something, please type it again because now I'm opening the chat again. So sorry about that, and yeah, I hate it when my other computer got frozen because I will miss some of your chat, your interaction. I really hate that, but that happens to me quite a lot sometimes. You know, it just got frozen, and it like to get frozen when I do my streaming, and you know, really hate that. But anyway, so yeah, we are kind of moving away from all this beginner stuff. We are moving into more like advanced stuff. So we have cover iterators. So next step would be the generators, and next step would be maybe async, because you know actually I've read an article that talk about actually the idea of having async IO in Python 3.4, 3.5 is basically because they discovered that all these generators you can really create some crazy stuff that is mimicking the idea of having async programming that you have event loop and stuff. So I would dive into it like in the following week. So today is a bit short, sorry about that, but I think it's just like cover some basic idea. We try to get back into our gears to learn more about like Python object. And so next week it will be longer because generator it when you play around with you and you're from, and it is getting more complex. So next time I guess it would be like more of a difficult like topic, and it would be longer, and then hopefully we can go there into async, and which is something that I've like recently read a lot today. So yeah, any other questions? I'm actually like now monitoring the chat on my phone. And yeah, Python Island, yeah, you're there. Yeah, sorry, like I totally missed all the chats before, but like I said, my computer got frozen in the kind of, I don't know, like maybe half an hour in or something like that. So yeah, so see you next week, and everybody else, and stay safe, enjoy the sun if you have a sunny day today, and generator, you should be excited about that. So see you next time. Bye.